One thing that gamers say, honestly, that I don't know if it pisses me off, but it definitely irritates me a little bit. When people talk about old games, let's say from the PS2 days or the N64 days or whatever generation you might want to, whatever generation you want to talk about. Whenever there's a discussion, either on forums or in person or whatever means of discussion there may be, almost always you always hear, "Oh, this game aged poorly," or "This game aged great." Whatever it may be. This game didn't age well, or this game aged well. Whenever people are using those phrases, honestly, I get pretty irritated. You want to know why? Because it shouldn't fucking matter in 2018 if a game from 1995 or whatever year it may be, it doesn't even matter if the game aged well. I don't know why. I honestly don't know why I find it so irritating. Why, whenever people discuss whether a game aged well or not, I just get annoyed. It's just one of those things. We all have it. Whenever someone discusses something or says something in a certain way that is common and usually isn't looked at in a negative way, and pretty much everyone says it that way, but you find it irritating. Well, nobody else does, but you find it irritating as f***. And that's exactly how I feel whenever people talk about whether a game aged well or not. And it's just, I just find it so dumb to even waste your breath talking about whether a game aged well from 10, 20 years ago. Because again, why should it matter if a game in 1999 or 2005 is okay by 2018 standards? I just feel like when people are using those terms, aged well, to discuss something, they're not contributing anything at all. It's like, no shit, a game from 20 years ago didn't age well. It's 20 years old. Like, do you go up to your grandfather and say, "You didn't age well"? Like, what the fuck does that even mean? No shit. It's like saying, "That sky is blue." Or pouring gasoline all over your body and then lighting a match will burn you to death. I don't know. Just obvious shit that people don't say because there's no need to say it. So when people discuss old games and talk about how, oh, it didn't age well, or like a good example would be GoldenEye. People always talk about GoldenEye. And yes, I do understand when people say that GoldenEye is the greatest, a lot of retro fans, people who grew up with the game, obviously, the game obviously still means a lot to them. So when people talk about how GoldenEye was the greatest first-person shooter of all time, people who grew up with the game, it can get irritating at some point. However, when people say, "Oh, well, the game sucks now because it plays awfully," well, no, it plays awful. It's from 1997, 21 years now. GoldenEye is old enough to drink, so no that it didn't age well, or that it doesn't play as good as a game in 2018 would. We better hope that a game in 2018 plays better than a game from 1997. I would like to think that's a good thing. If a game from the 90s plays better than a game that came out recently, that is not good. So when people say a game didn't age well, that shouldn't be used in a way that insults the game or tries to take a shit on the game, like GoldenEye. "Oh, that game sucks now. It didn't age well." Okay. Like, what are you trying to contribute to the discussion when you're talking about this game? When you're talking about old games, what are you trying to contribute? You're not contributing shit. I don't know why it bothers me so much, but it does when people say that. It's just beyond stupid in my opinion.